Hey guys, AfroMatt here from Wreckless Nostalgia, and today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 SNES racing games on all time. Let's just get into the video, please.
This is a public service announcement from Wreckless Nostalgia. Viewer discretion is advised.
So coming in at number 10 is a game you get here in the States, and that's Hannabarbera Turbo Tunes. Only released in the PAL regions of Europe, I don't really see why this game wasn't released in North America. It seems like a simplistic, fun little game for kids. But with my experience with it through emulation, just like a lot of other games I've experienced, I didn't see much wrong with the game. I enjoyed it very much. There are some things here and there that could have changed, but it's always fun running around as Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound. It's the little things like that that bring you back to your childhood. But one of those games that did not age well over time. I mean, just look at it. It looks like a goddamn wreck. But there's something about Stunt Race FX that's just fun to come back to. Even though these graphics definitely do not hold up to today's standards, back then it blew the people's balls off, let me tell you that much. It's crazy how one chip can make everyone go completely crazy. It was fun back then, and maybe it's cool for a little nostalgic trip here or there, like it was for me, but I can't deny how much this game did for the gaming industry. It showcased just games like Dirt Track FX, Star Fox, and this game. It showed what the FX chip can do and how powerful Nintendo actually was at what they did. So big props to this game of what it did back then, but right now I think it should step aside. But back then, I would have really, really enjoyed it, just like I do today. Number 8 is not FZero. It's actually a game called F1 ROC Race of Champions 2. Now this game, on its surface, looks exactly like FZero. There's no doubt about it. But this game is actually very fun. It took a lot of elements from FZero, if you can't tell already, but it's actually a really fun game to play. It's got tight controls, and it took a lot of what FZero did and made it just its own game. The tracks are nice and fun to play. It's fast-paced action. It's anything you want out of a racing Super Nintendo game. The only reason it's so high up on the list is because there's a lot better racing games on the Super Nintendo. But honestly, if you find this, pick it up or just play it on the emulation. It's fun. It's fun for a few races, and it's still fun probably today. But let me tell you, these similarities to FZero, they're too many to count. Number 7 is Tasmania. Now, a lot of you may not consider this a racing game, but I do. You're running from one end of the level to the other. It's still technically a form of racing, if you can say that. So Tasmania is Taz the Tasmanian Tiger, if you guys do not know, from the Looney Tunes series, and it is his own game on the Super Nintendo. Now there is a different game on the Genesis called Tasmania as well, but the other one was kind of like more of an action platformer, as with this one is a racing game. As you can see from the footage that I got, it is definitely a racing game. You're not competing, but you're still running. That's racing. To one end of the level from the other until the timer runs out. That's racing. But all in all, this is definitely a good game on the Super Nintendo, and it's probably a hidden gem in my opinion. It's hard to see some of these licensed franchises trying to come up and be big in the video game industry, but with Tasmania, it was kind of outshined by a lot of other good Super Nintendo games. It's not the best one by far, but it's still a pretty fun game to pick up. I enjoyed this game for many hours, and For what it's worth, it's actually really fun. Oh yeah, it's morphin' time. With Power Rangers Zeo Battle Racers coming in at number 6, I could not think of a better game than this, except for the 5 other ones on this list. Who writes these scripts? Come on, help me. Anyways, this game, basically, if you look at it, this basically takes the Super Mario Kart engine that was used for the same system and just slaps on the Power Rangers logo. That's not all. It's got its own unique style of gameplay that I love to see. It's got all the Rangers. You got Tommy, Rocky, Kat, Jason, Adam, her. You got the bad guys from the show. You got King Mondo. I'm sorry, I honestly don't remember that Yellow Ranger's name. I'm going to have to get a 10-4 on that one because I need help. But when you look at this game, this is definitely... I think it was inspired from Mario Kart a little bit, because when you look at it, it looks, plays, and sounds a lot like Mario Kart. That does not take away any of this game's enjoyability, though. Not one bit. When you're racing these tracks with the Power Rangers, if you're on the dirt bike, if you're in the car, if you're the good guy, if you're the bad guy, it does not matter. Because that's what Power Rangers is about. It's supposed to bring you in for so much fun. And that's what this game does. This game is honestly one of my... Oh gosh, it's up there. It's up there for me in my Super Nintendo list. But I can't deny that there are better racing games. But personally for me, this one is probably one of my top, like, personal favorite ones. But I had to be honest and fair with the list. And after going back and playing all these games, this one wasn't as fun as I remember, but it's still very enjoyable. No doubt about it. But if you find this game, you need to pick it up, especially if you're a Power Ranger fan like myself, like Dante, like a lot of people here at Wreckless Nostalgia. You'd want to play it. So coming in at number 5 is Rock and Roll Racing. Oh yeah! Oh, I need to work on that. Rock and Roll Racing is an isometric racer with one of probably the kick-ass soundtracks of any racing Super Nintendo game. It basically just rips off every cliche rock song you can think of and just puts it in a 16-bit badass form. There are a lot of games that have tried to emulate this type of racing, but I think Rock and Roll Racing has it nailed down to the bone. No pun intended. This game is actually very fun. The tracks are nice. There's a big competitive thing. If you're going for multiplayer on this one will not disappoint at the least. This game is very fun, very fast-paced, and whatever the case may be, this is not a disappointing title by far. The only reason it's number 5 is because, like I said, this list is it's hard to choose from, especially from the SNES, who has so many good racers. But this game, by far, stands out to be one of the best on the system. It's in the top 5, so you gotta give it credit, especially with me. I'm very picky with my games. So this one is getting a lot of credit because, number 1, the soundtrack's good, the controls are amazing, and this game in all is just an amazing game to play and a good experience for anyone who's a newcomer to the Super Nintendo or the racing genre, or video games in general. So, if you want to show anyone this game, do it. Very good game. And it deserves to be on this list, and it deserves to be on everyone's racing list, in my opinion. But, as we can see by a lot of people, my opinion doesn't matter, and I don't give a fuck. Ah! Okay, I'll watch my mouth. I think there's blood now. Gah! Friggin' hurt. So number 4 has to be one of the most underrated Super Nintendo games, not just racing, but in general, and that is Battle Cars. This game, oh my gosh, this game, I don't know how it's so overlooked by everybody. It's got everything you want. It's got good graphics for the time. It has great racing controls. You get to throw projectiles at other cars, make them blow up and shit. It's honestly an amazing experience. uses Mode 7 to probably its fullest abilities yet, and it's honestly one of those games that you need to pick up and try. This isn't even me just exaggerating, it's just that damn good of a game. When I picked it up, I was surprised at how good this game actually is. But there are little things here and there. It presents a good challenge at first, but with me not getting so far into the game yet, I can't really say much about it. But other than that, it's just a really fun racing game, probably the biggest hidden gem on the Super Nintendo by far, and it is a great start for anybody who wants to get into this type of genre. Number 3. Yeah, Super Mario Kart. It's not my favorite on the system. Hell, it's not even my favorite in the Mario Kart series. Probably one of my least favorites. But that doesn't mean this game isn't good. It's an amazing game. It was revolutionary for the time. And it just doesn't... It can hold up still today by some people, but for me, I didn't find that much enjoyability into it. But that's not saying it's not a fun game, because it is. It's very fun. It was the first in the Mario Kart series. Had a cast of amazing characters. Only 8, but still, this game, that doesn't mean that this game was not fun by far. This game is amazing. Some really good controls, really amazing graphics for the time, and it took Mario in a whole new direction with this racing genre. Mario can literally do everything, and this is one of the perfect examples. And for number 2, we're heading to the big blue. God, I'm the worst. FZero. What else is there to say except it's not number 1, because this is not my favorite racing game on the Super Nintendo, but it's my second favorite for many reasons. FZero for me was always a better racing game than the Super Mario Kart game because it was more fast-paced. It had me into the game more than Super Mario Kart did, and it was amazing for the time. No one saw these graphics come from the Super Nintendo. No one saw the fast-paced 60 frames per second that this game had to offer. This game, and the series has been taken for granted for so long, it's probably why they haven't made a new one. Please, God, someone at Nintendo, make a new F-Zero game! Please, I am begging you. Oh God, I cannot sleep at night sometimes because I need a new F-Zero game in my life. And I'm not even kidding when I say that. I can have Dante as a witness, even though he's not here. Sorry. Anyways, with all the tears and all the sappiness aside, F-Zero, there's not more to say other than that this game has a legacy of its own. Starting from the Super Nintendo, ending on the GameCube, sadly, this game needs a new game sometime down the road. Wii U and X, I don't care. When you look at the game, you think of 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, perfect. This game does present a difficult challenge down the road, but if you're playing by yourself, if you're playing with friends, it doesn't matter because F-Zero will not disappoint you anytime. There's been no instance where I've ever ran into where no one has not liked F-Zero. This game is just that damn good. This game is amazing. It is probably one of the best racers, but not quite, because that would be number 1. Okay, can we please get to number 1? I got a long day tomorrow. Can't be doing this all night. Oh, I could? Who said? You, huh? Okay. Alright, let's just get to number 1 before we get the paperwork in here and the legals, because I don't need this right now, okay? I do my job. I sit here in front of the camera for you. You don't need to do this to me. Okay? Alright. Alright, let's get to the next one, please. Thank you. Now, number 1, say it ain't so, yes, sir, Unicycles. Now, a lot of you may be saying, Matt, what the hell, Unicycles, really? But yes, Unicycles, and I can name off 100 reasons, but I'm going to only do one. It's Unicycles, people. Look at it. Can you not sit there and tell me that this game does not catch your eye for some reason? By far, one of probably the best, this is the best racing game on the Super Nintendo in my opinion. I put more hours into this game that I recently just found, more than Super Mario Kart Battle Cars, Rock and Roll Racing. It's so addictive. The multiplayer is addictive. There is no part of this game that can go wrong. It's Unicycles, the most obscure goddamn thing anyone can think of. That's that's like if I made a Star Fox spin-off and I call it, I don't know, but it would star a toaster and he'd be flying around shooting things. This is literally what they did. They took the most obscure thing and they made it into one of the funnest games on the Super Nintendo, by far. And I can back that up. If anyone wants to come find me, I will put my address in the link. Just kidding, you weirdos. There's not much else to be said about this game, other than, yes there is, I'm an idiot. The tricks you can pull off in this game are, look at that, just, beautiful. Just beautiful. There's nothing about this game that can go wrong for me or for anybody that picks up this game. This is the go-to title when I tell anybody about a Super Nintendo racing game. It has to be this one. This one's so easy to pick up, so easy with a friend. It's so easy to play, so addictive, so much fun. You cannot go wrong with Unicycles, people. I am serious. Alright guys, that's all the time I have for this video, but make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will be back soon. But guys, like I always say, remember to feel the nostalgia, the reckless nostalgia. I'll see you guys next time.